Hello everyone and welcome back to another Universe Sandbox video, and today we're going to be evolving another custom solar system from birth to death. So it's been a while since we've done one of these actually, but I did mean to get back to doing one at some point, and I saw you guys have been asking for it as well. So here we go. Hopefully you all enjoyed this. A long time awaited for this, and yeah, hopefully I can get back to doing these more frequently again. But without further ado, let's just hop straight into this. So I've already got a star set up and a simulation all saved. So we're starting off with our star here. So as we can see, I've given it a 3.37 massive sun, but at the moment its radius is still a very young star, so we'll probably call it Proto, or just Proto Star for the time being. So we'll just go, that's a Proto Star. Surface temperature is 5,100 already. Its luminosity isn't that bright yet, and radius is 7.84 Jupiter, so we're not at one sun yet, so it's still a very young star. A little more massive, obviously, than the sun, so in theory it could go to a supergiant. Let's have to wait and see for that. So there's our Proto Star. So what we're going to do is, obviously, we need planets. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the good old usual. We're going to go for a ring. We're going to go for an asteroid belt, and we're just going to go for a massive asteroid belt, basically, where our planets will be forming. So we're going to go from 0.1 AU, I mean, just something really silly. We'll go out to a good 150 AU, how about that? And what we'll do is we'll go manual, we'll just go white particles so we can see them easier. There we are. And then add ring to star. Okay, so there we are. So that adds a ring. Obviously, we could actually up the particles a bit, so we could get a little, yeah, that could be a bit of trouble. I mean, that's a lot of material. I mean, if the simulation can run it, then I'm not too fussed. I mean, let's have a little look. Can it actually run this? I mean, oh my god, it actually can as well. Oh my god, that is a lot of planetary material in there. So yeah, we may have to just. I'm just going to lower that a bit more. Let's go to about, I don't know, 9,000-ish roughly. Add that back. Okay, there you go. I'm going to roll with that. So obviously these particles won't be around forever. And yes, okay, so we've got our new star formed. I've put one of the I put the light Milky Way background on for a change as well. Why not? So actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save that. So there we go. Okay, so we've got our new star. It's just formed. Now we have a material ring around it where planets will be forming. So what we're going to do is, you know, the usual. We're gonna spawn in some objects. Looks like our star's actually on the move as well. What's that all about? It's probably all these particles in here. So planets. What are we thinking? Remember, it's a new system. A lot of planets may not last till the end of this. So, what are we thinking? I'm thinking maybe 5 Rockies, 5 Gassies, and then we'll throw some extra bits and bobs along the way. So, what are we thinking for Rockies? Right, what could we use here? Oh, actually, that object there, hot ice. So this was one of this was once a competition object. I think Siren made it. And it's basically just a really, really bright, reflective ice giant. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to place that fairly close to our star. It looks like it needs a trail. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm going to place hot ice. It's going to form fairly close to the star here. So we're going to pull it at around. Well, where are we thinking? I'm going to place the ice giant there. So that's formed. That's our first planet that's forming in the inner solar system. Meanwhile, in the outer solar system, we also need a dominant gas giant, so I'm going to place Gliese 504b in there. So if we just have a look, so we've got our very first planet that's formed here. So in theory, this would probably form first, so just ignore the one in the inner system. But here we go. So here's our dominant object of the system. So it's Gliese 504b, obviously gas giant, bigger than Jupiter, more massive than Jupiter, and it's right in the middle of that massive planetary disk of objects. So if we have a look, distance from the star, 355-year orbit. So yeah, it's fairly far away, but that's obviously because 75.2 AU. I mean, that's where the main sort of material line is. So okay, that's fine. So let's just keep that running. Obviously, the simulation is probably going to get quite slow the more planets we add in here. Next up, I'm going to throw yeah, more gas giants. We could go with one of the custom ones there. Nah, not thinking it. What could we use? What's still be? And I don't want to go use any other super large ones, so I'm going to use some of the random banded objects. So I'm going to place. They're in orbit mode, aren't they? Okay, so I'm going to place just a few random ones in here. Okay. We can always have a little play with their size and radius a little further down the line. So I don't want to fill it up too much with gas giants, because obviously we are going to see ejections anyway, but that's kind of what I want to see. We want a bit of action, don't we? So we will have enough in there for some ones of those. I am going to throw in, We could actually throw in a custom Neptune, actually. Put that on the far edge. And then we'll throw an Epsilon down in there as well. So we've got some ice giants, we've got some gas giants. Okay, so I think that's enough gas giants in the system. I think that's a fair share of different mix. We've obviously got a few normal gas giants in there. We've also got some ice ones as well. So yeah, got a fairly good mix there. Okay, so there's all of those guys. And then we have the hot ice that's mysteriously in the inner solar system here. So now, inner planets, what are we thinking? So this planet's kind of caught my eye. So I'm going to place that in somewhere. Okay. We'll throw one of the desert worlds in there as well. One of the competition deserts. I did keep all those from the competition, so I'm going to spawn one of those in. What else have we got here? Oh, gas dwarf. I do like the gas dwarf. We're gonna spawn that somewhere as well. In there. LP12. We always use LP12, so not this time. Kepler 22b. That's an all ocean world. We're gonna spawn that in there somewhere as well. Okay, and then just a few other random worlds that I'm just going to place in. I'm not really going to even bother, like, really looking at them on the image. So we've got one of the Trappist ones I've just thrown in there. But I'm just going a bit random now, so just any rocky planet. I'll just throw one of the Kepler 84S's. Captain B, why not? Let's throw a few of those. And remember, all these objects won't survive. We've got one of the sinister object there. That was Siren's one with the awesome clouds. I think that's going to be one of our innermost planets in there. And then I think we'll have to probably throw things off with... Actually, I did just see that early Venus. I want to throw that in there as well. So there we go. Cool. Earth-like. We're going to spawn that and we'll see how Earth-like it is eventually. Dust Storm Mars. Nah, I'm not buying it. And then I think, just to finish off, we'll have a few just sort of normal random moons. We'll throw a few of those. And remember, these objects are less sort of going to be interesting. But we're going to throw a few random moons in just to have a few extra objects in. And then dwarf planets. I mean, we're going to spawn a bunch of those in the asteroid belt area, but I don't think they're going to last. So, there we go. Random rocky planet. We'll throw a few of those guys in as well. Okay, so there's our new sort of system. Just formed, and here are all the planets that have formed out of it. So, orbit mode on. This is kind of what we got so far. Now, I do think we need to... Yeah, some of these do just need their colours modified, just so we can actually see them, just due to that really annoying glitch. So, okay, there's Captain B. Good, good. Some of the banded objects, remember, these are our gas giants of the system. So we've got this one here, a slightly more purple colour gas giants. That looks to be one of the innermost gas giants there. 18. So I'm just going to highlight all of the gas giants like we normally do. We've got this one here, banded 18 as well. So we'll go just a sort of an orangey, sort of dark orangey reddish shade. Why not? Okay, so we've got that one there. Also, all the dwarf planet objects and stuff. I'm not going to modify those. Banded 26. I think this is going to be... This is one of the ISO ones, actually. Okay. So I'm going to put that in there. Obviously, we already have the Neptune equivalent in here. Epsilon's in there. Gliese 504b. That's it. This is our dominant object. So, this should be the biggest one. We'll have to have a quick look at the radius comparison. But, okay, so there we go. So we'll put the dominant one in there. And what we'll do is quickly, we'll just pause it, line them all up. So, radius... So it is our dominant gas giant, so it's the largest one in there. What about mass-wise? Yep, it's largest mass-wise as well. So that's our dominant gas giant. So this is the Jupiter equivalent in here. So there we are. Okay, so all of the other planets, I think that's mostly everything that we want kind of lit up now. Kepler 184f will give you a slight sort of colour as well, just so we know you're there. Trappist 1e, this is Siren's one. Let's place that in. Okay, that one looks quite cool, actually. Let's just brighten its interface up a bit. Doesn't look like it's got an orbit on at the moment. Where's its orbit? Has it got like auto lock or something? No, none of that. Auto orbit, maybe. Play. Wonder why its orbit's not showing up. It's quite a mysterious world, isn't it? Okay. Right, cool. So that's all there. Obviously, inner solar system, gas dwarfs in there. What's happened to this? This looks a lot different since I last saw it. Let's have a look underneath it. Okay. Alright, that's fine. Okay, so leave that the way it is. So maybe the opacity, maybe that needs a slight change. I think this object's been kind of broken by the new update, but yeah, we'll leave it like that. Okay. Yeah, and I want to give you just a trail colour. So we'll go with green. Okay, so enough customization now. I think we are good to go. There's the Sinister world from the competition recently, so that looks awesome. So there we are, right. Okay, so this is our new proto system, obviously formed here. I'm going to throw a save in now. So now we can start evolving our system from birth to death. So we've got our system as formed. So obviously a quick little job. Obviously we're not going too much for customization here, but we will do probably down the line just modifying planets. So now we need to obviously speed up time. And obviously our planetary disk of asteroids, in theory those are all going to disappear. So this is our system. the new planets are formed. We've already got some orbits inclined in there. So this is our system. So closest to the star, we have this world here. It's actually already getting quite cold because the star isn't really bright yet. As we can see, Proto Star, it's not a very luminous world. So obviously the planet's far out here. I mean, these are probably barely even receiving sunlight. I mean, let's have a look. Banded 27. You getting any light, my friend? This is very, very dark here already. And this is only 29 AU away. So it's not really receiving much light, is it? And also all the other planets out there are not getting much either. But yeah, look, before we start evolving our star, Kepler 22b, that's frozen as well. So let's see how other worlds are doing. So they're all going to start freezing up. Here's a Lombi. I think this is meant to be one of the desert worlds. Yeah, actually, I got to say, it does actually look really cool the way it looks in its current form. So here it is. Let's have a good look at it. So let's just slow things down. Yeah, it's definitely a desert looking world, alright? Underneath, that's what it looks like underneath. So, clouds, atmosphere on it. And in theory, now we have the atmosphere opacity. We can actually play around with atmosphere a bit to make it look slightly more interesting or not. So, in theory, it kind of reminds me of Venus in a way at the moment. So, it's like a cold Venus in a way. What's this greenhouse effect? I think this is definitely, if this is going to be a desert, it definitely needs a greenhouse effect on it. It's got 1 ATM. Let's buff it up to around, I'll go 40 ATM. Not 40. So give it just a bit of atmosphere, just to make it more interesting. This world at the inner solar system here, so this was the competition object. That thing does look so cool. We're not going to play around with any settings, because I don't want to break it. So atmosphere on and off, so we don't want the atmosphere showing. Okay, interface, it's already got the dark red. So what I want to do with this one is, it's already got a high ATM, that's fine. What about this object here, Idel? What's this one? That's just a normal rocky planet, that's fine. We don't need to modify that. Hot ice. How are you doing? It's actually obviously just a hot ice giant event. Or that will be hot eventually. We've got an early version of Venus here. So as you can imagine, it's just the planet Venus, but with, well, it's frozen at the moment actually, but normally this would be a Venus texture with oceans on it. So this world hasn't kind of woken up yet because it's frozen. So it's a very, very early version there. So there it is. We've got Captain B out here. That's obviously another Earth-like world. It needs an atmosphere though. I mean, it's, yeah. We'll let the simulation evolve a bit, and we'll add those as it evolves. So, there we go. Let's just let it move. We need it moving. So, surface pressure will go with 1.2 ATM. That's something fairly comfortable there. Kepler 22b, you're the next planet out here. So, you're just an ocean, well, you're normally an ocean world, so that's fine. Don't need to do any modifications to you. It's already got a nice sort of atmosphere going on there. Gas dwarf. Yeah, so it's mainly the inner planets in here. And then we've got TRAPPIST 1e over here. I don't know why its orbit's not showing up. But, yeah, there it is. So that's looking good as well. Okay, cool. So we've got our star. Planets are formed, so now we can start to evolve it. And what's this object here? It's not showing up. Okay, so this is one of the another rocky worlds. Let's just give it a bit of colour. There you go. Cool. Right, so what we need to obviously pay attention for here is going to be the gas giant orbits, probably. So there we go. Let's just save it. And what we could do as well is shrink the system. If nothing happens, we can obviously shrink it, just have a bit of extra effect added to it. But let's watch as our orbits start to evolve over time, because I'm pretty sure we can see orbits changing. There's already orbits being affected here. Remember, not all these objects may make it to the end before the red giant phase. Some of these may be tossed out, inclined orbits. We can always see, I bet you those are a lot of the dwarf planets that have affected orbits here. But we can see, literally, as soon as we start speeding up, we're not even at 10,000 years of evolution, and we're already seeing problems. Why is this Kepler object not moving? That's weird. What's that all about? Has it got position lock on? Get out of here. We don't want that. Yeah, get out of here. There we go. Let's fix it. Cool. Right, there we go. So now it's orbiting. Oh my, this isn't going well. We can already see lots of planets being affected. So this planet, Kepler 194f, a planet that may have had the potential to have oceans and warm temperatures, may have possibly already had its chance taken away by its inclined orbit. It's been having an effect. Maybe it formed too close to the gas giants. Remember the orange one, Gliese 504b? This is our dominant gas giant in here. So this is the one that probably makes all the decisions of where objects go. We can see if anything gets too close to it, it will start having effects. So we can already start to see as well planets like inclined orbits over here, eccentric orbits I should say, stuff like Sedna. We're already seeing that happen. Sedna, Eris, any of the dwarf planets in our system, we can already see they're already being slung further out by the gas giants' presence. So let's keep it evolving. So they evolve really fast. We could see an ejection. I reckon we will see an ejection. We did have a lot of gas giants in there. Ejections are definitely possible. But one thing I want to do as well is, like our own solar system, the theory that our own solar system, some of the planets started to spiral inwards. Well, what I'm going to do for that is I think we will spiral our system in slightly. And we will go with shrink. We're going to press it once. So we're going to shrink the system down. So that makes all the objects closer to each other. So that will start to spice up some things. So, like our solar system may have done, with Jupiter and Saturn especially, they migrated inwards. Well, that's kind of what we've just done with all the objects in here. So, just to add a bit of extra spice to it. So there we go. Right, let's let it evolve. So there we go. Speed up time. I think this is as fast as we can go. So 0.3 million years. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. So we could see some action-packed stuff here and here. I mean, those gas giants... I mean, the gas giants could get too close to each other at some point, so who knows? Cool. And how's our Neptune doing? So that's obviously far out here. Epsilon over here. Obviously, that's another ice giant in the far depth. So they're probably our two most distant big planets. Because I think the next planet inwards is actually... I know we have Banded 26, the other ice giant. Then moving inwards, you have Gliese 504. So you've got 504, you've got Epsilon, Banded 26, and then Neptune there, the outer objects. And then in the more inner areas, obviously you've got Gliese there, Banded 27, you've got Banded 18, and then obviously in the centre of the inner solar system, you do have hot ice. So that is in there. But I think we have probably run the simulation enough now just to start evolving the star itself. So I think that is definitely in order. Let's obviously just keep it saved, keep it updated, in case we have any weird glitches that break it, because that could be a possibility. So... there we are. So now, star itself. Obviously, we have the habitable zone on. We're just going to slow it down, just in case anything goes wrong. So, just let the solar system slow down. So, everything should be at its sort of natural temperature at the moment. So, this is probably where we're going to want to be looking first once we start messing with the star. So, okay. So, luminosity. We're just going to double it up. Straight up, double it up. Oh! Yeah, see, that's why I saved the simulation. Oh my god, what is happening here? See, we've kind of broken it. So we're going to have to open it again. So I guess we're going to have to manually input more luminosity ourselves. Doubling that up did not work there. That was not good. So, okay, let's try that again. Maybe it's better if I pause the simulation. So what I'm going to do is 0.3, we're going to go to 0.5. Play. Oh, is it not going to work? No, don't do that. So it's just turned it into a black hole. Oh dear. Bear with me, guys. I'm going to fix this. Okay, everyone. Right, I've just got it all working. All I needed to simply do is change the surface temperature instead of the radius. So now, as we can see, our star is now 1.48 suns. It's already larger than the sun. Because remember, it does have a lot more mass as well. So, surface temperature is at 4,500. Luminosity is now 0.801 sun. So, what we're going to do is we're going to throw another save in for safekeeping. So, there we go. Because we know stars in the game at the moment are very, very buggy. Any little change you can do to them could just break it. So, that's obviously what we saw there. So, there we go. So, that's all running fine. So, we're going to let that as time pass. So, now we can start to see the zone is expanding out. So, let's just see if that's had any effect on our planets in the inner areas here. So, minus 129. No changes there. So, that hasn't had anything yet. Hot ice, how you doing? So again, that's had no change either. So maybe the star needs another little gradual push. We're going to increase our temperature more. So as we can see, as the temperature goes up, luminosity will start to skyrocket. So we can see that blue zone is expanding. We're going to double it up to around 2 luminosity as sun. Because we are in a bigger system, so we do need that more luminosity further in. So as we can see, we're at 6,600. Because remember, this star has more mass. In theory, it's going to burn and use its hydrogen up quicker than the sun is. So... there we are. So now that's expanded out. We can see the red area is expanded. We're going to go, because this star's probably going to go to a blue giant, a blue subgiant in its main sequence before it becomes like a red giant, red supergiant, that sort of stuff. So let it run. So let the planets sort themselves out in the inner areas there. Also, we're going to let the outer system evolve as well, because that also needs to be played a bit more. Oh, I think I just saw something change in there. I'm not exactly sure what we saw, but there was definitely something. I want to say one of the gas giants has had a change. I'm not sure. What was that? I don't know, actually. No, I think it's alright. Never mind. But there's definitely orbits that are having effects in there. Okay. So it does take a lot of time sometimes for stuff to start changing. So, okay, let's see how we're doing in the inner system. So I want to see if these planets have received it. Yeah, so that one has warmed up. I can definitely see that. How's this one doing? This one's at 18 degrees now. So this star has, or this planet here is now receiving temperature. And it's looking very, very menacing. I mean, that is a very hellish looking world. I mean, look at the state of those clouds. I mean, that is just... that's crazy. Right, so... And what we could do as well is, since we're so close to the star, maybe a tidally locked effect could be in order. We haven't done one of those before, actually. So I think, yeah, we have a tidally lock. Not position lock, tidally lock, yeah. So now that's going to be facing the star. I think we could... Yeah, I think we need more of that action in here. So I'm going to tidally lock a few of these objects in here. So let's tidally lock this one as well. This is an Earth-like world, possibly, but maybe tidally locking it could upset things a bit. So, yeah, we've never done a tidally locked world in any of these episodes. So, yeah, I think that is definitely in order. So we're going to have a few tidally locks in there. Okay, so there we go. I've just thrown it on some runs. Right, cool. How's this Alombi doing out here? This is a desert world. That's looking really cool. Right, cool. Let's let things run. So I'm guessing this world we should start seeing a massive change in its appearance, maybe with a tidally lock effect going on. So how are we doing? Slow things down. So obviously the same face of the planet is always going to be facing the star now. So, oh, those clouds do look so cool. I wonder if this world can be even modified. I'm not sure, but there you go. So if you want to have a cool look of it, I think we need to go on the surface. So can we actually go underneath the clouds? Yes, we can. So there's your sky. That's all you see in the daytime here. It's just very, very red. I mean, let's just turn all those bits and bobs off. So where is our star? You can see one of the other planets over there. Star. It's very, very bright here. Where is our star? Proto Star. Okay, so there's the star. Okay, cool. So remember, obviously we're tidally locked, so the same face of the planet is always facing the star. So if we stand here, we are always in the daytime. So look at the clouds. Look at them go. Oh my god, that is so cool. Oh, they look absolutely monstrous. So there we are. Right, so if we look in the sky, got a clear sky at the moment. There you go, Proto Star. So that is awesome. So let's hop out. There you go. So that is an absolutely menacing looking world. So also, if we speed up time, we should start seeing a tidally lock effect appear on its surface grids. So surface, here we are. Okay, so we should start to see something appear. So let's see how this works. I haven't looked at these grids since the update. So what's changing here? So you can see the hottest point is at 190 degrees on this sky now. Oh, best look onto the star. There we go. Cool. Right, and then let's select you again, so we can actually have pay attention to its stats. Surface. Temperature. Yeah, we want temperature, don't we? So, yeah. Okay. So you can see the hot area is obviously the face. So the bit that's tidally locked is the red point. So we can see the hottest part is 190 degrees there. So that's really insane. That's how we're doing orbit-wise. So we can see, yeah, there's still those all that. This object's hanging on, isn't it? Oh, there's the tidally locked stuff. So you can see as the planet rotates, the hot area does, or not rotates, but as the planet goes around the star, that hot area is sort of transitioning. So it's really cool. That is really cool. So you can always see the tidally locked effect when it's just got one massive patch on it like that. Because normally, if a planet is just a normal rotating planet, would have the area scattered like that. But obviously not on this one. So, okay. So I'm thinking maybe another star evolution is all, but I can definitely see orbits changing out there. That is getting it pretty insane. So one thing I'm going to do as well to really upset things as well, to get a bit more action, we're going to provoke another shrink. So that will definitely cause some chaos. So how are we doing in this world here? So this one's probably going to receive its... doing that actually would have upset the tidally locking, so we actually do need to press that again. Okay, so that will fix it. Cool. So how are we looking on the surface? Yeah, there you go. So that's fixed it. So the hottest point's 200 degrees we're reaching now. Okay. Cool. Right, no more shrinking. I think that's enough. So planets have expanded. You can see the orbits are really having some interferences out there. So, okay. Right, so back into the inner system here. I think another save before we expand the star once more. So let's go there. Okay, so star, we're also going to want to increase your luminosity. So what we're going to do is surface temperature. We're going to go up into a blue star face. So as we can see, as it turns to a blue star and it burns hotter, we can see a massive increase in luminosity. So very, very hot. We've turned into a blue star now in the main sequence area. So we can see the planets in the inner system are probably going to start getting a little upset with it. I mean, as that zone gets bigger. Let's actually have a look from our farthest of the main planets. So Neptune over here. Not receiving much sunlight yet. It's still at such a far distance around the system that it's not receiving much light. So out here it's still fairly cold, quiet, middle of nowhere, but obviously in the inner system now, So I'm gonna call everything the inner system that's kind of in front of banded 27. I think this is fairly probably our midpoint between inner and outer solar system. If we have a look at its distance, it's 62 years. So, I mean, it's a lot. This is like Uranus distance from the star anyway. So I think that's a fair thing. So how are we doing, Captain B? How are you doing? So it's on the edge of the zone now. So how are we looking? Okay. Oh, so just slow things down. Star's quite small still. So let's have a look. So this world, obviously, not much going on yet. Still very cold, but possibility for Earth-like conditions once. It's had some water to it as well. This planet would have had water. So that world obviously had to sort itself out eventually. But yeah, we'll just add a bit of water just to give it a bit of action. So there we are. Earth-like, how are you doing down here? This, again, another Earth-like world. It should be having... It already has water on it. It's probably all frozen at the moment, though. So we'll give it just another gradual interest or gradual increase. Does that even do anything? No, it doesn't. Oh, there we go. So we just had to add and remove it. So give that a bit of water just to sort itself out. Oh, it actually has lights on it. Cool. So there we go. Probably needs an atmosphere. That's probably a good start as well for stuff. Oh, no, it does have an atmosphere. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Let's just we'll just make it more opaque then. Maybe a slightly custom shade as well. Why not? Cool. Right, so that world's obviously no temperature here yet, so the boundaries haven't really reached that. So where's hot ice? How are you doing? So this world has now received temperature. So the hot zone is obviously in the red area still. The next planet out, this one hasn't received anything yet, and it does have a greenhouse effect as well. So it should have something, but it doesn't. Albedo's very low, 40 ATM. I mean, normally this world would be going, but I think there's definitely changes that's happened to the stars in the recent versions of the game. There's not much going on with stars. I think maybe a tidally lock in there could be an order as well, just to really spice things up. So let's press it. So that will obviously start to well, that should start causing problems. So let's just see it, wait and see how that spans out. Yeah, we can see it's slowly getting colder as it plays around. So yeah, we are tidally locked, aren't we? Okay. So that's also going to only orbit. The orbital and rotational period are the same. So the same face of the planet, always facing the star. Here's hot ice. How are you doing? That's pretty crazy. I think that's actually a rocky planet underneath. I think this was intended to be a gas giant, but it has a rocky planet texture, so it's quite cool actually. So very thick clouds on there, but also we can actually increase or decrease them, which is quite cool. She never used to be able to do that. So hot ice is looking very sort of hotter now. That pink sort of shade glowing through it. So that's quite a cool looking world there. Okay, so how are we doing on the our most inner planet here? So here we are, still only 46 degrees. Surely the hottest point of this planet is going to be in the 300s now. Okay, cool. But I think one thing we need to do is our star needs to be a little bigger. It still is quite small for what it is, isn't it? So 9 months orbit. I mean, that's not really far away. I mean, right. So star. How big is our star? I mean, there must be an issue with it. So 1.48 suns. Okay, that's not too bad. Right, so before we do anything with the star, again, save. Always save. So there we are. Right, so I want to double its radius. So this could get quite dangerous. So double. Oh, I didn't like that. That doesn't look good. Is that even going to work? I mean, I don't know. Temperature needs to increase again. Okay, so let's put it back to the blue. 347 suns. Oh my god. Okay, I'll leave it like that at the moment. I know the colour of it's changing, but I just want it so it gets more luminous. That's the main thing I care about. So now it's at 21 suns. Obviously, it's getting bigger. And it is brighter. So that red zone has expanded out. Kepler 22b's on the edge of it now. How are you doing? Still looking very frozen at the moment. Yep. Okay, so the inner planets, we should start seeing. So hot ice is now in the hundreds. So we are seeing some temperature there. How are we doing at this one? This one should be starting to get into dangerous levels now. So that is increasing more. Surface, how are we doing? 386. So there we are. Okay. I want to start seeing the Earth-like planets emerge because we haven't seen any of that yet. So I wouldn't mind seeing some Earth-like temperatures. We haven't got any habitable worlds yet in this simulation. So hopefully that's where we can finish up for today's episode, is getting an Earth-like world eventually up and running in here. So, okay, there we are. Okay, so let's keep it going. I'm really surprised we haven't seen any ejections yet. Maybe we just need to have more evolution time because we need to run it a bit more. So let's just let things expand. We can see the orbits are still changing. We just need to run it for a good amount of time. and just wait and see if anything happens. So maybe one thing we could do is I could just leave the computer running for like half an hour or something and just wait and come back and see what's happened and find out the whole system died or something. But yeah, there we are. So let's just keep it rolling. Look at those orbits going around. It's so cool. So trails. How's trails looking? So there you go. That's a good look at them. Oh, it's so cool seeing them all slingshot around. So we can see also the eccentric orbits are heading in this direction down here. So I wonder why that is. How we're looking orbit wise. So everything's fairly sitting comfortably together. I mean, maybe we will have to shrink it again. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the solar pull of the star makes them shrink every so often. I mean, our solar system did do it with Jupiter and Saturn. We did have that the possible orbits getting closer to the sun. So maybe we could do it again. I mean, I don't know. Maybe just make it a little more action. But it's all fictional. We're not fully realistic, but we are taking some realistic features. But we are still. This still mainly is a fictional, just for a bit of fun. So please keep that in mind. Tools. We need tools, don't we? Yeah. Shrink. I'm gonna do it one more time. There we go. Right. Hopefully that'll upset enough stuff there. So there we are. Okay. So how's the inner? The inner planets are so close together now. That is, I'm surprised we haven't seen any sort of change with them yet. I mean, they are dangerously close. So, I mean, look how close they get. I mean, that is pretty insane. So how are we doing here now? So this is in the hundreds. Oh my god. Okay. See, that's getting Mercury. That's Mercury sort of levels of temperature now on here. So that's getting pretty hectic indeed. Any flight planets yet? Come on. How's our Alombi doing? This was our. Is that still very cold? Okay. Early Venus is probably the first chance for an Earth-like condition. So any chance here? 0 degrees? No, it just won't have it. It does have its water all ready to go, but it just doesn't have the temperature. How are we doing atmosphere-wise? I mean, oh, that's probably why. We probably need just a bit more ATM to sort of warm it up. So we're going to give it that. 2.34 maybe. Maybe that'll give it a bit of an increase. I don't know. Yeah, it still won't have it because it needs more star luminosity. So, okay, again, I think we're going to have to do it. So save. Come on, we just want to get liquid water to run on this simulation, just for a brief amount of time. Remember, this is a larger star than the sun, so it will evolve quicker. So planets with life may not last as long. But we'll have to just find out, really. So star, temperature, we're going to... Yeah, so that as soon as you double it up, I mean, this thing gets insane as soon as you increase that. So now it's going up to 63. So there you go, next evolution stage. So we are seeing some warmth now. Okay, maybe that's enough. How are we doing on the inner planets? Because this is where the main action really is. 305. Okay, that's still increasing. How are we doing at the furthest reaches of the system? So Neptune. So how are we doing over here? Furthest of the main planets. Yeah, it's still fairly dark. So, okay. I mean, if we turn off all the bits and bobs, star is still fairly dim. Okay, cool. Oh, where are we? Oh, I forgot all the planets sort of showed up. That was cool. I like that. Okay, right, star. Let's continue. Put all that back on. Okay, come on. So early Venus. We want to see some temperature. How's hot ice doing? Yeah, it's getting very hot there. Okay. Early Venus. It is warming up. Can we pull it to 0 degrees? Will it warm up? No, it still won't have it. Oh, that is so annoying. Come on. So, how are we doing? Alombi here. No, still not enough temperature there either. Okay, so maybe the star does need another little provoke. So we have to make it a little bigger again. So, there we are. Okay. Radius. Not radius, no, temperature. We're going to just gradually increase our temperature. So as you can see, that really, really upsets that luminosity. I mean, look at that luminosity. Okay, so we're at 100 luminosity now. Play. So that should easily be enough to surely warm Venus up enough now. I mean, let's have a look. Oh, I think it is. There you go. Okay, so the star's hit its phase. So Venus's light in the sun has arrived. Let's just see how hot it goes. I hope we haven't just like made it just go too hot, because that'd be a right shambles, wouldn't it? Okay, 15. Oh, maybe it looks like it is peak. No, it's still going. I mean, as long as it's around under 30, I think that's fairly... how are we doing? Okay, so it looks like it's sitting around 24, 25, 26. It's still increasing, but I mean, it's got temperature. It's got conditions that are possibly life. I don't know. So how are we doing? Let's just slow it down. Maybe just a bit of albedo. I mean, Venus is known for its clouds, so maybe it does need... Oh, it already has a high albedo. Right. This, if you remember, greenhouse effect is a big part of Venus, so in theory, It may have it all, maybe looking all right now, but eventually it's not going to look too good. So let's give it a bit more water. What's its stats anyway? Let's have a little look at its stats. 90 and 70s. I mean, it's got its conditions. It definitely has its possible conditions at the moment. So nothing's going to be exactly perfect. So yeah, it's 44. It's increasing. So obviously we've already passed the initial stage of where Venus would have been comfortable. We've already passed it with the star because we boosted it up quite a lot. So in theory, if we put the star back to probably 90 luminosity of sun, we probably would be able to see. So for instance, if we were to lower this, so go back to about 90, that would probably give Venus what it needs to, hopefully. So if we put it to 20, so how would it sit there? No, it's okay, 35. So it's still even at 90 luminosity. So what about 80? We have to lower the star. So we're actually devolving the star at the moment. So we're taking a bit of a scientific experiment here. So 77 degrees. Let's just see roughly where Venus would have been okay. Okay, so around that. Okay, so 23, 24, I think we can agree that's comfortable. So, yeah, so 77 luminosity of sun is roughly where it would have needed to be for Venus to have been at its probably best. So if we look at its stats now, yeah, 95, so yeah, somewhere around there. But yeah, let's pass Venus's light in the sun now, because obviously we need to progress, not go downgrade. So let's go back to where we were, but let's actually go past where we were. So 110 luminosity. So this would probably start to make Venus get too hot for its conditions. So it goes up into the 50s. So in theory, its greenhouse effect would probably be starting. Or probably would have started, let's be honest. So there it is. So for instance, now we can actually have the cloud thickness. And obviously to make it into a Venus, you just simply change the colour a bit. So it goes from away from its blue, goes to its more known orangey toxic shade of colour. Obviously the thickness increases, and then it starts to become a global greenhouse effect. So what do you think of that? Give it red clouds, why not? So there you are. So that world that once had water, probably not anymore. So that water's obviously all going to evaporate eventually. So obviously greenhouse effect, and obviously since it's Venus, obviously this now it's all turning into all the water's evaporating. That atmosphere pressure is probably going to go up to a lot higher than it is at the moment. So that temperature will probably get a little insane. So that's the probably the end of Venus's light in the sun. So let's just call it, I don't know, Venu. I don't know. So Venu. So yeah, world that once had the conditions, not anymore, because it just passed its point. Okay, so how's this world doing? So this is the next world out. So this is also an Earth-like world, but as we can see, like Venus, maybe it's still a little too close to the start. I mean, that's a good-looking planet, but 109 degrees at the moment, and it does have water conditions. It's a really good-looking planet actually, but there it is. So it's this world, like Venus, because we buffed the star up so much, it's received its light period. It actually has better life stats than Venus as well, being the next planet out. But yeah, this planet as well, like Venus, is going to get greenhouse affected like crazy. So maybe just a bit more thickness as that greenhouse effect starts to increase on that one. So yeah, we have had two worlds that have met their light in the sun and now have passed it. So Captain B, currently the best probably place for life. Here it is. So it's got oceans, 11 degrees Celsius. That is pretty much where we want to be. I mean, yeah, there you go. So temperature-wise, what are we looking at? So hottest point's at 90. Yeah, so that's the green area. Yeah, that's a comfortable looking planet. I'll tell you, that's a very comfortable planet. So let's get stats. 74 and 28. Okay, not bad. But there you go. That is probably the best place for life in the system at the moment. So the two closer rocky planets with water, those are too hot. But this one is pretty much perfect. 11 degrees. I mean, yeah, that's comfortable. And it's got water, it's got clouds, atmosphere. Yeah. So there you go. So that's where we're going to finish off for today's episode, guys. So we've expanded our star out. It's obviously getting a lot bigger and brighter. So it's at 110 luminosity already. So I think next episode we probably are going to start entering the early red giant phases. We'll probably make this one a three-parter. So yeah, there we are, guys. But hopefully you've all enjoyed today's video. It's definitely nice to bring this series back. Hopefully you guys have all enjoyed it as well, because yeah, these are really fun to make and experiment with. But remember, please keep in mind, we're not going for a full realism sort of experience, because I have messed around with the, for instance, I have messed around with the shrinking of the system a lot. Take that as you will. I mean, like I said, with the real life possibility our solar system did it, yeah, I think it's okay to use that button. But yeah, let me know, guys, if you got any other tips or feedback or stuff we could do in this. And yeah, with that all said and done, guys, make sure you all have a great day. Stay safe out there. And let's see if we can go for 60 likes on today's video, guys. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.